everyone. On behalf of the management, staff and students of Gurukul Global School, Chandigarh, I extend a hearty welcome to everyone on the 5th edition of the Gurukul Global Model United Nations Conference 2021. It is a matter of great pride for us to organize this conference, which gives a platform to numerous intellectual brains combined with futuristic vision who believe in the power of speech and expression. It is indeed my pleasure, or rather an exemplary honor, to have you all present with us on this occasion. I feel elated to extend my welcome to our revered chief guest, Major Priya Jingan, who was the first woman to join the Indian Army as Lady Cadet number 1 in 1992. She has served in the Judge Advocate General's Department for 10 years, and not only is she a visionary, but also a motivational speaker, lawyer, journalist, teacher, public speaking coach, leadership and soft skill trainer, and head of MPJ Leadership Academy. That's amazing. We are indeed delighted to have you amongst us, ma'am. I would like to extend a pleasant welcome to our President, Ms. Meena Sethia, our Chairman, Dr. V.D. Singh, and our Managing Director, Mr. Praveen Sethia, for giving us this opportunity to organize this program. Their dedicated involvement in all the school projects serves as a great inspiration to all students and teachers. We also appreciate and welcome the respected members of the School Management Committee, Dr. Sanjay Kalra, Mr. Pawan Bansal, Mr. Dhiman, and Mr. Vivek Atre. A very warm welcome to the Executive Board members, whom I'm sure will have a tough time ahead with such excited delegates. A very special welcome to all the delegates who are limitless, who are fearless, and want to touch the sky and run past the horizon. We once again open-heartedly welcome all of you to display and perform the best of your capabilities, learn something out of each moment, and make numerous memories that will last with you forever. I wish you all the best. Thank you and have a good time ahead.
Respected Principal Ma'am, members of the MUN committee, students, staff, and management of Gurukul Global School. I congratulate you all for holding the 5th Model UN in school amid these trying times. I am privileged to be associated with it, and I thank you for giving me this opportunity. When we were in school, the word global citizens was a very new and upcoming terminology, and our understanding of it was very limited. And it was just limited to reading about other nations and their policies, but we were still bound by geographical boundaries. Our knowledge was regulated. We did read about the United Nations and what it was doing for world peace and underdeveloped nations, but we were never a part of it. Our views were very conventional and non-progressive. I was very impressed with the vision of your school, which believes in guiding students to face the uncertainty of the future and encouraging them to harbor innovative ideas and unorthodox views about the world. You are very lucky students to be able to participate in the MUN, which provides you with a forum to be delegates from all around the world to advance your opinions on the most pressing issues and diplomatically resolve them to reach a consensus. It can be a life-changing journey that will help you develop confidence in leading others, gathering stronger awareness of the global issues, and a chance to make new friends from around the world. Model UN is a valuable experience that can change you and help you get into college, find your first job, and become inspired to change the world, as it is a simulation that imitates the procedures of the United Nations in finding solutions for real-world problems. It teaches you negotiation, discussion, and lively debates, which is the cornerstone of UN activity. Not only does it educate students about current events, international relations, diplomacy, and the United Nations agenda, but also helps you gather knowledge of the world we live in. participants are bound to develop skills including public speaking, presentation, persuasion, situation analysis, teamwork, research, and critical thinking, all which are the need of the hour. It is a great prospect for personal and global learning and change. And change, we all know, is the only constant. I wish you all the very best. You have an impressive agenda to deliberate on, be it the economic and social repercussions in post-war conflict zones or women as drivers of economic resilience in the COVID-19 pandemic recovery. I hope you have healthy, fruitful and momentous discussions and debates, and may you come out more empathetic, more compassionate and considerate human beings who look at the world, the whole world, as theirs and are not constricted by man-made boundaries or military boundaries. You are blessed, you can fly. Thank you. All the best.
You know, CSW is a melting point of ideas.
It's running, thinking, and talking.
CSW is women, it's youthful, and it is vision.
It's 2 weeks that are dedicated to women and women's issues by the United Nations, which is huge.
You are building global movements, raising awareness, inspiring change. Advocates for gender equality are mobilizing like never before.
This is my first time to participate in the CSW. I think it's super amazing to see all the people coming from across the world, especially youth. So today's event, I was a speaker. It was about child marriages, and I was taking notes in the session because there were like so many information. Everyone here is so passionate to join different sessions, to get information, to empower themselves so they could go back and empower other people in their communities. Right here.
My day today is attending many side events and official events that discusses the CSW priority theme, but also adds in a lot of other exciting things that women want to talk about. We need big, bold steps, not incremental steps. It is also an opportunity to have lots of discussions in the corridors because as you walk around, you just meet so many people. CSW is also an important time for civil society to be on the platform as experts and for them to guide and to advise governments on what they expect as the users of the policies that governments decide upon.
Well, I think this is my 5th CSW, but this is my first CSW as a public official. It's very different to be the Minister of Women's Affairs and really look at what we have to do from the government, what are our obligations, what are the opportunities. CSW is a very interesting process where you really bring all the knowledge and the agendas of the different countries to really make women's rights a reality.
This is an opportunity for us to put our agenda on the table and talk about the things that we want and what's affecting people. Today, I'll be part of the group conversation. I'm one of the facilitators, and we're just basically trying to figure out the way forward and the various challenges that we face as young people.
If we don't come together and do this for young people, our children would have the same fate as we're having right now. Nothing is going to change.
It's not only a gathering and learning, but it's also to get together to agree, to have conclusions.
As we live here, you are richer with ideas and new possibilities of what could be done to improve the status of women and girls.
I believe that what we are doing today here will bear fruit, and one day our daughters and granddaughters will not go through what we've gone through.
On Education for All on its second day, on the current economy and the overall state of the world economy and its implications on development factors, including education and employment for the achievement of the United Nations Development Agenda, noting that the economy is recovering, currently growing at a rate of 3.3% and projected at 3.6% for 2012, but remains fragile.
This recovery is very uneven, with a growing difference between the growth of a developed economy and the growth of developing economies, whether they are emerging countries or lower income countries. And this is fully reflected on the trade side. A large part of the rebound of trade flows and of the course we have today is due to the differential of growth between emerging countries and developed countries.
We are telling the countries that we need to be more balanced. We still need to, countries need to be able to compete. They still have to build up their competitiveness, but they also have to build up the strength when it comes to the time that there may be some turbulent external disturbances like what happened. And this is something that we are concerned that recessions and global downturn could be recurrent issues.
Most of the developing world has been coping reasonably well with the crisis, and also that, as we see at the World Bank, the most structural change taking place in the global economy in recent years has been exactly this move towards developing countries becoming the engines of global growth.
Shah Zukang, Under-Secretary General for the UN Department of Economic and Social Affairs, said that it will take another 4 to 5 years for employment to reach 2008-2009 pre-crisis levels, and that more poor people are in vulnerable jobs, adding that the resurgence of rising food prices forced the world's poor populations into extreme poverty. The World Bank had reported back in February that 44 million people have been forced into extreme poverty since June last year by food inflation.
In this kind of very, I would say, unique period of recovery, with one group recovering faster and developed countries slower, then we really need some hard thinking how to sort of, enhance or strengthen the international partnership.
Quite fragile still. We cannot say that it's a very sustainable tendency, but we hope it will be. But if you look at the reasons for this recovery, and if we go back and see at similar cases in countries that have excelled, I would say, most in this world and have progressed immensely, these are those countries who have invested in education and in health.
Development goes together with education. You cannot spread the education all over the world if you are not able to increase the development of particularly the developing countries. So that's why these battles go together, and we should face both of them with the same intensity.
Pascal Lamy, Director General of the World Trade Organization, also noted the importance of global trade for economic recovery, but warned against protectionist measures that might cause political turbulence and have a negative impact on the economy. The World Bank said that South-South trade linkage has kept growing, enabling smaller countries to develop growth strategies and continue to grow with the increasing demand of commodities, while noting that because economic recovery remains fragile, social systems should be adapted in order to produce real development and growth.
Karnataka, Srimati Mangal Suresh Angadi.
Having been elected a member of the House of the People, do swear in the name of God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी,
उनका परिचय करने का आनंद होता, हर बैंक पर से बैंक को थपथपा करके उनका गौरव किया गया होता, लेकिन शायद देश के दलित मंत्री बने, देश की महिला मंत्री बने, देश के ओबीसी मंत्री बने, देश के किसानों के बेटे मंत्री बने, ये बात कुछ लोगों को राज नहीं आती है और इसलिए उनका परिचय तक नहीं होने देते हैं।
बजट पर बात, हाँ बजट पे बोलेंगे, आप शांत हो जाइए प्लीज।
1/3 हिस्सा जम्मू कश्मीर का हमारे पास नहीं है।
I've taken the initiative to bring together a group of civil society stakeholders, healthcare experts, practitioners, Director General of AIMS, technical experts, and a few fellow MPs who are willing to accept my invitation to an annual closed-door discussion on the magnitude of the current crisis of toxic air quality across our country. The discussions in 2017, 2018, also this year, dealt not only with the current state of air quality, but also extended to deliberations on what we could possibly do.
किसके कारण नहीं है भाई? किसके कारण नहीं है? जब महाराजा हरि सिंह जी ने भारत के साथ संधि कर दी, वायुसेना के विमानों से भारत की फौज वहां गई, पाकिस्तान के भेजी हुई कबीलाई के रूप में आई हुई सेना को खदेड़ना शुरू किया। खदेड़ते खदेड़ते काफी हद तक कश्मीर से लेकर आज की एलओसी तक पहुंचे। किसने सीज फायर कर दिया? किसने सीज फायर किया? माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, हमने नहीं किया। जवाहरलाल नेहरू उस वक्त के प्रधानमंत्री जी ने सीज फायर कर वो हिस्सा आज पाकिस्तान। हमें इतिहास सिखाते हैं, हमें कहते हैं, आरोप लगाते हैं, प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करते, इसको भरोसे में नहीं लेते, उसको भरोसे में नहीं लेते, इसको भरोसे में फलाने को नहीं, ढिकने को नहीं लेते। जवाहरलाल नेहरू जी ने देश के गृह मंत्री और उप प्रधानमंत्री को भी भरोसे में लिए बगैर कर। अगर भरोसे में लेते तो आज पाक ऑक्यूपाई कश्मीर भारत का हाथ में होता, हमारा कब्जा। इसको वापस लाने के लिए इतनी जद्दोजहद न होती और शायद भरोसे में लेते तो टेररिज्म का मूल ही न हो।
As concerned citizens and as elected representatives, to create and implement a national action plan on cleaning up our air. Since the inaugural meeting in 2017, this platform has brought together some of the most accomplished and experienced stakeholders on this issue of vital national importance, including for the first time this year, the Honourable Minister of the Environment, my good friend Sri Prakash Javadekar, who addressed this year's gathering in a comprehensive ideation of this government's strategies to address air pollution. So I think we're on the right track, and I'm glad to see that the Honourable Speaker has taken this conversation forward at a time when it simply cannot be ignored anymore, because, I'm sorry this is the case, the issue of air pollution has simply so far, until this debate, so far not been given the due recognition it deserves, or even serious discussion within the walls of this august chamber. In the few times it has become a political hot potato, it's always in the few weeks before and after Diwali. In fact, just after Diwali is when the debate also peaks, as does the AQI. And the situation we have is focused on urban centers, is very often reduced to a Delhi-Punjab debate, and honestly that misses the larger point.
A very good morning to distinguished chairs, Honorable Principal Ma'am, MD Sir, a very special Chief Guest Ms. Priya Jingen, and my dear aspiring diplomats. It is my utmost pleasure and indeed a great honor to welcome you all to the 5th edition of Gurukul Global School Model United Nations Conference 2021. It honestly feels purely surreal to be here and delivering this speech that I always dreamt to deliver ever since I was in my 6th standard. Or during these past 4 editions, I used to hurry back home and tell my mother that one day I'll be there advancing the same speech, and here I am welcoming you all to the 5th edition of our conference as a Secretary General. GGSMUN 21 aims to inoculate a sense of belongingness in our delegates towards the world outside. through the means of discussing the conflicts that have caused this global turmoil. Our main aim is to provide a forum to the delegates where they can advance their opinions to the most pressing issues and allow them to engage in talks that the world leaders refuse to have, and through those dialogues reach a consensus diplomatically. I would not only like to wish you all with the best of luck, but would also like to wish you with the best of diplomacy that you will be using during this two-day conference. I hope we're able to deliver an experience that proportionally whisks your innovative intents with your creativity, while also distillating the setbacks that hold us and the world back. We hope we will be able to live up to the stellar legacy that has been left to us as an heirloom by our esteemed alumni and teachers. Lastly, I welcome you all and thank the school management at our school for providing us with this opportunity to explore our beliefs and to reflect on our position in the world, and to answer a call to service in global community of MUN circuits. Having that said, I, Hunar Nangru, the Secretary General for Gurukul Global School Model United Nations Conference 2021, with all the powers and autonomy vested in my hands, hereby declare this conference to be now open.